Hi, everyone. We're moving on to filters and Macs. So I have scaled down the pitch shifting patch, and it's familiar Faburn sample with some speed control and with pitch control. I'm going to do the low to start. All right. And we're going to add to this patch um, without filtering. So we're going to start with the low res filter, low res, resonant low pass filter. Um, Works with a cutoff frequency argument, say 500 hertz, and a Q that's from 0 to 1. 1 is really full feedback. So 0.999 really is your highest. We're going to start with this for now and do two of these because we're in stereo as we go through. Now, anything that has resonant um, in the name or has a resonant property has feedback. And so we have to be careful how we use that. We're going to make some slight adjustments over here. Before we make the adjustments, we're going to add one more thing to each of the low res filters, and that is a clear message. It's not often, but it's possible to make filters in the vernacular blow up. It's when the mathematics creates unstable audio or unexpected audio. And the best way to get out of those is to clear the filter memory. Filters are delay lines with mathematical coefficients. So we're adding a clear message. That's just a good habit to get into right at the beginning. We're also going to um, keep this gain control of the audio going into the filters so that um, with when we start playing around with the cue, we don't get into distorted audio situations. If you're listening with headphones or working with headphones, you really want to be careful about audio feedback and high volume spikes. So we're keeping these, and we'll just uh, go over to actually, I think this works best with the send and receive. Going to go short. If you are really worried about typos, although I just used an L and an R, you can option drag, change the send to receive. So I'm going to put these in the same path here. Now I'm going to copy over our gain slider because it's good to have some volume gain control after the filter. And if I've not made a typo, we should still hear audio. And we're already hearing the effects of a cutoff frequency of 500 hertz. We can now change this, both the filtering and the Q. So just a floating point to enter in hertz and another floating point to do Q. Bring that one down just a bit. And so I've gone into both the left and the right. And cutoff frequency is going to be the same, but I'm going to go up. And it's just a little bit of a hassle to set up the two channels, but since most of the audio we're dealing with is going to be stereo, I want to do it. So I can lock and keep looping. Go up to 1000. Doing a very crude filter sweep. We can also change the Q. And you could hear when I got to 1, it started to distort. Which maybe bring the gain down out of the audio before it gets to the filter. Now, it's pain to do mouse dragging around and experiment with this. We can do some quicker experiments if we set up some external MIDI controls or at least some good conversions. We can keep the Q, but it is worth selecting our floating number point box, floating point number box, and giving a minimum and maximum. Both are important because negative numbers are just reversed in phase when dealing with this. So we want the minimum to be 0, Q, the maximum to be 0.999. So now, just to show you, shouldn't have let me get to 1. And what I'm going to do is get that down to 0.99. So that we're cut off a little bit more. Now, sorry about those jumps. Um, I'm listening in. I think it's distorting, but it's not getting out amplitude wise. So, easiest way to work with center frequency is to be thinking in terms of MIDI notes and converting that to frequency rather than just straight hertz, because this is an exponential scale. Doing MIDI note numbers, that's a linear pitch scale that's going to convert exponentially. So let's do that. Um, Moving over here, I'm not going to do note in because I'm doing that for pitch shift. So I'm just going to do a dial, output of which is going to just show me up on an integer number box. Then I'm going to convert that to frequency. And now what I have is and it's jumping by half step. We can still fine tune by just dragging on the number box if we want to. I'm also going to add a control in so I can control this externally. Controller, I'm using this blank control in to see controller 71 is on here available. And then I'm going to use 72 over here. And I'm going to scale this. Be from 0Q to 0.99, working in the same maximum that I had. Always good to see that this is actually working. And now I have control of Q and slider, so turn this back on. I can bring the gain back up. My Q is kind of down. Back to the original pitch. And I can play around with Q. Speed it just a little bit. And you can see when you really hit a frequency that's in the file that kind of pops out. And with a high Q, low for cutoff frequency, you've really got a swimming pool effect. All right, so that's our first. Took a little bit longer to set it up. I am going to save this file as playlist filter demo low res. And that's it for this one. I'm going to work with resonant bandpass next.